Hello and welcome to MotoGP Mac, where MotoGP fans come to congregate and fanboys fear to tread. Marvelous race. Nice race today at Assen.
Yeah. I love it, man. That was great. It was like nonstop, almost the whole race, pretty much. Like just drama going on, like battling, drama, people falling, and so I hate to see people crash, but I mean, they were pushing. Seems like everybody was pushing.
Everybody was close. They were at least close to one another. It wasn't like one guy left and just checked out. You know what I mean?
Right.
Pecco, what the hell is Pecco? He seems to have like hot spots. He'll go fast and then he backs off. And he's You know, if he could keep that speed up when he has his fast times, he would be back to his old self.
But, yeah, I think he's second guessing himself because during the race he was fast, but it just wasn't enough, and then he had the lead. When he had the lead, I thought for a second he was just gonna run with it. But he just couldn't. I don't know if he maybe felt something on the front and was just like, oh, let me but Marquez, I don't know, man. The way he passes is just like, it's so aggressive, but it's not like he's bashing. It's not a bash pass. It's just like if you leave him a little bit. If you leave him a little open, and he's going to slip through there, and he's gone.
He's gone, right?
Yeah.
I don't mind. I've criticized him before for, I'm a Marquez fan. I appreciate his skills, but when he used the bass pass, and I didn't appreciate that, and I didn't appreciate towing.
Yeah, that towing. I was just going to say that.
He was on the Honda and he couldn't get anything up, and he was towing everybody.
But he's still doing it though. He's still doing it. I don't get that.
He's not towing.
Man, I saw something to where Bagnaia, he like had to pull off. He pulled off a track to let everybody. I think it was Q2. He pulled off of the track to let everybody go through.
Yeah. And, I'm saying Marquez hasn't been.
Yeah.
Towing. There was. Yeah. I think it was DG was on the back of him, or.
Yeah, no. Somebody was.
I know who it was. It was the Yamaha guy that's not doing well.
Oh, Renz. Yeah, I saw that too.
Renz.
But I get that. I'm kind of not as harsh on people that are doing bad, trying to maybe, because I see it as you're trying to find a line. You may be trying to find a different line or different angle to maybe get at least because he's way back there. He's not a threat, but when it's the top guys do it, like the top maybe 3. You shouldn't be towing. I feel like you shouldn't need to tow.
I don't think you should ever need to tow or shouldn't do it because it's dangerous when you're crawling up somebody's ass and they hit the brakes or something. I know there's a light on the back of the bike, but you're that speed. It's faster than your reflexes are. Like I said, reflexes always have a limit,
But it was a great race. So yeah, Marquez did really, really well. I don't see anybody. I mean, I don't know. I think this is pretty much unless he just crashes, start having some crazy crashes during the race.
Yeah, or hurts himself bad or something. Yeah. And talk about that, Alex broke his hand. So the guy that's always been second might not be able to pull seconds because your hands are, you went fast, I went fast, we went on track day. What puts a lot of pressure on your hands from stopping? And, you ever notice those guys? They're like 5'2" and their hands look like a guy that's 6'4". They put their hand up to their face as big as their whole face because they've been shifting since they're little kids.
Yeah,
and their hands are disproportionate to the rest of their body and their forearms.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully he can get get whatever he needs to get done and just jump back in the game. But I know that may psychologically maybe throw him off a little bit. Hopefully not, because he's the closest one to Marquez. I mean, there's nobody else as far as points that can catch him. So without him, racing or being up to, whatever his being up to where whatever his potential, whatever, that's gonna really, I don't know, man. That's gonna take a hit because who else is gonna keep up? I know Bez was really close.
I'll say Bez, man. The Aprilia was smoking. I mean, they gotta give him Ryder the race.
Yeah, he did. I think he got Ryder of the race, which I agree. I agree, man. He he's like at the top of his game, I feel like.
And he's really a mediocre rider, but that bike is really doing well. I mean,
I don't know, man.
It's ironic that Dingbat Martin is leaving, okay, and the bike for having a slow bike, right? And it's the second fastest bike on the grid.
Yeah.
Right.
Man, I don't know if I wouldn't necessarily say he's an alien, but man, he's riding that bike on a different level than everybody else.
Really holding the corners really well.
Yeah.
And when it's smooth, they know Aprilia really worked on ground effects, okay, which will help in 2027 because they're taking away the front wings, right, or cutting them down. So, but that doesn't affect ground effects, which is on the side. You know what I mean? So they've been working on that forever on the side arrow. Right? So that should give them a little bit of a head start. The problem is this year is that they had an engine freeze on European manufacturers, which is absolute bullshit. Why do you give one? Why does it have to be on? Everything's against it, you know.
I mean, you know how it is.
Yeah. Yep. Not only do they want, it's not like they want somebody else, but Ducati to win. They want it specifically to be a Japanese bike. They want it to be Moto Japan, which pisses me off. They should just,
they're trying to keep it close.
No, but they want specifically the Japanese to win.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They want Japanese to catch up.
Yeah, but it gets to the point where you say, okay, when is this? When does the welfare stop? You know, like,
it's not. Trust me, it's not.
You know,
until a Japanese bike wins, they're gonna keep giving them assistance or whatever.
And you know what? They had the engine freeze, and Aprilia had to agree to it for a vote. And I'm sure that they strong armed them. Like, hey, you either go along with it, or we'll cut your fuel down. You know.
They are. Yeah, they are. They're going to do all of that.
Yeah,
they're going to keep doing it until one of the Japanese bikes gets on par. You know, and I had hope for I know we're jumping around.
Supposed to have concessions, and then but the Corella, whatever the hell his name is, came and said, "Oh, no, but in this case, I know you're supposed to have we're supposed to have unanimous vote, but we're going to give it to him anyway." Like, just strong armed it. His decision was it. It's supposed to be this way. We're changing the rules right now.
It's entertainment, man.
Yeah,
entertainment. It's like on those game shows when you see somebody out of nowhere from the back start winning. It's because they have help. You know what I'm saying? It's not just because they're good. They want to keep it entertained.
Yeah, it should be what concessions are supposed to be, which is when they first come in. QJ, by the way, they're thinking is looking at MotoGP. QJ Motors.
Okay, I never heard of that.
It's a big. They sell 1 million bikes a year.
Okay.
They bought Benelli.
Okay.
You know Benelli, the old Italian manufacturer. But they and they're buying up designs. They bought up a design for the one of the MVs, and they're trying to make a real good Chinese bike. Like CF Moto is trying to make a good Chinese bike. Now, if they went in, I'd say, okay, you get concessions for the first year, right? After that, you're on your own.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't, and if they did really well, I wouldn't expect them to be beat up either. You know what I mean?
They're gonna help them out because they want to see different people winning. You don't want to see the same.
I don't know.
Same two, same three.
If they came in and they were very strong, would they say, "Oh no, you're like the Europeans. We don't want you to win. We want the Japanese."
I mean, eventually, yeah. Like if you're dominating, they're gonna try to limit you a little bit so that they can keep it more competitive. That's what's gonna happen. That's the name of the game. I was gonna say Fabio though.
Eventually, the performance finds its own level. Like I said,
yeah, it just takes time. It may take 2, 3, 4 seasons.
When Yamaha, back when everybody could get as much testing as he wanted, okay, Yamaha made 18 different bikes in 2 years. Okay, that's finding your own level, and they came back strong, right?
It take years.
Yeah, now it takes years to get a bike. They had 18 different bikes, and I mean they were different bikes, right? Yeah. V4, square fours, opposed fours. It was they won every freaking week. So mother, necessity is the mother of invention. So, but back to the race.
Mm-hmm.
KTM did okay, but nothing.
Yeah, I don't know what it seems like they're missing something.
The only problem with the KTM is I'd love to see them. They remind me of Ducati when Ducati started up, and they had that carbon perimeter chassis, and they couldn't get it down. No one else could get it down either, and they had the best one of all, but it was still stunk. They're trying to reinvent the wheel, and are stubborn on it. Could you see them making? I mean, they're a real strong engineering company. If they made like Ducati, if they made a regular aluminum chassis,
they gotta try. They gotta bring in. Yeah, they gotta bring in better engineers. I mean, I know they had a maybe a money issue, but now that that's settled,
but they did pay their engineers very well. They put their money in, right? Like Yamaha and Honda don't pay their engineers. They put the money into the riders. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you need a rider,
right? But they don't pay the engineers, and they end up with shit engineers. But KTM does spend the money on the engineers, but they're trying to reinvent the wheel. They're doing it totally different. You have a tube frame, carbon fiber frame. It's almost the same thing as they had back in the perimeter carbon fiber chassis, Moto chassis, they called it.
Because I mean, but it seems like they made a little bit of progress. I know there are some crashes. I mean, Pedro was in 4th, Vinales in 5th. So, I mean, they're making some headway. I think it's just going to take a little bit more time. Hopefully they can. Man, I think if they just keep pushing it and just keep going, they may be able to get a podium. But you got to think though.
It's an awful lot of work, and they got Acosta for a rider. They should have more.
But look who you got. Mark Marquez, you got Alex Marquez, you got Bez, you got the two VR46 riders. Like that's a lot of competition they have to get through.
Yeah,
and we maybe Pedro he takes a little bit more risk.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Pedro Acosta is good enough that at least he should be. I would think if the bike was good, he would be up at least around doing 3rds or 4ths. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That Ducati is just so strong. It's like you almost got to be a Marc Marquez to get past them. And they don't have, Pedro is on his way, but they don't have that alien rider to push that bike through those Ducatis.
I think Pedro can be an alien rider, alien rider, or super alien, they called it. The bike's holding him back.
Yeah. It seemed like this season.
Not forget, Binder was the hot property one time. He used to slide up like.
I never saw that. I've heard I hear the way the announcers talk about Binder. They act like he was just, on the podium every week. Yeah, they talk like he was just on the podium every week, and now I'm just like, I didn't see that. So, and especially now, I mean, he's like pretty much invisible. He's like in 11th, came in 11th. So, but then you have Vinales and Pedro in 4th and 5th. So he's like off.
Yeah.
So,
but
I mean,
strong engineers is that you can make bigger jumps. It's not. Honda has the weak engineers, so they're just throwing shit up against the wall. So it takes any gains takes forever. Okay, because they don't actually know why they got the gains. You know what I mean?
Right.
They don't have a firm grip on why they got the gains. Yamaha. Everybody said Yamaha. Oh, and Aprilia, by the way. Guess what? Aprilia is 2nd in the construction title now.
That's amazing because
Honda's on the bottom again, where they should be.
Right. They're going to be on the bottom. That is what it is. They're going to be. I hate to say it, but
good race and having a bunch of riders. You know what I mean?
They need a rider, to be honest. I mean,
yeah,
Zarco is doing Zarco things. I mean, he'll have a flash in the pan, and then now he's just like, it's like, what happened? Where is he at now? So, Honda, they need a strong rider, and it seems like they have a little bit more kinks to work out.
Yeah,
on their bikes, and then hopefully.
Really, Zarco was doing his best as you've seen him in a long time, but he was still a mutter. You know what I mean? mutters and good dude does good in rain races.
Yeah.
Versus they call them mutters. You know?
Mm-hmm.
But then when it dries out, he's still not.
Still not. It's not enough. He's good. I'm not saying he's not good. He's good. It's just not
I
enough.
saw Mir on there. My God, they had him by himself, and the thing was shaking like a dog shitting bones. And I'm going, he's either going very fast or he's going very slow.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel for him. It seems like he's having a lot of crashes here lately, and I don't know if that's just from like contact with other riders and fighting. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard when you're mid pack. It's hard to fight through. Now you got to watch. And then too, I was gonna jump on Morbidelli. It seems like it's just hard getting past him because you don't know if he's gonna hit you or not. So he's always. I know Matt called him Bam Bam, and that seems like a fitting name for him because he's always bumping into other riders. So it's like now you got to not only fight through people who are actually good competition. Now you got riders that are they're bumping you. You are already on the limit, and then you get a bump, and that's it. That's gone. You're gone. So
I got a nickname for him. You know what we should call him? Tugboat.
Tugboat, yeah.
Yeah, because we need to put tires over the side like a tugboat if we bang into everybody.
Yeah, he's playing bumper cars or bumper bikes.
Yeah.
It's like, what is going on? I'm surprised he's just not they're not harsher on him because I know they have a penalty system.
Yeah.
Which they were talking about. Like, they need to just hit him with the penalties because he's affecting the sport. I feel like if you're causing riders to crash every race,
yeah,
you're in effect, it's like
our boys. I think our boys lenient, but you got. There's a point where you go, oh, listen, okay, might have it once, you might have it twice, but you're banging at everybody.
You're just banging everybody, man. You need to, yeah. You need to start from the pit or something. I don't know. They got to do something with him because that's,
I know. We told him. I said we had him on and we said, when you go into the job, make sure you curb Mark Marquez. I said we're both fans of him, but this banging, bash passing, and towing is not acceptable.
Yeah.
I think he knew it too, Mark Marquez, because he's been calming shit down. You got to get a new sheriff in town, so now he's like, oh. And Honda probably went home and he went, I'm not playing ball. I could see him doing that.
Yeah. Because he's probably like, that's the only way for me to be competitive. The bike is not there. That's the only way. So then he got fed up and said, hey, I gotta leave at this point because you're not giving me a better bike. And then, I don't want to keep running into riders and towing. So I had to make a decision. So, and look, now he's back at the top. So, sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
Ford Quartararo, and I'm going to miss, I'll be honest with you, I'm going to miss him on the inline 4 because the last one, and just him having that 110% over, riding past his limits, riding. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But I do feel sorry for him because he's riding his ass off, and he might be able to get his qualifying in, but then he gets around traffic.
Yeah.
Where he can't just keep flowing,
And
speed. He can't build up speed. You know what I mean? And
you got to have that pace.
Yeah.
You got to have race pace. Like, just because the bike is fast or you're fast doesn't mean that you're going to win a race. You have to be able to be consistent with that.
Well, when qualifying, you're all by yourself and you can just go fast. You're fast.
Yeah. I saw him doing that. Yeah. When he qualified, he waited until everybody else went out, and then he went out, and then he ran his lines, and he's able to get the fastest time. But in a race, you can't necessarily do that. So they got to give him something. I feel like he's just wasting his time, to be honest, and then he's crashing all the time. That's got to suck. Always banging your head and on the ground, or banging whatever part of your body. Look, Alex just broke his hand. It looked like he just got tapped a little bit. And then he fell on his hand, and then now it's broken. So I hate for him to, get injured basically, and then now you're in a worse position now.
Yeah.
They need to just give him what he needs. Give him the V4. Bring it in. I know it's not necessarily competitive, but just give him something to work with.
I just had an epiphany. I'm wondering if we keep saying, why aren't they doing the V4? Why aren't they doing the V4? Okay, why aren't they getting the V4? I wonder if Quartararo's not too happy, okay, and saying, I want my V4 and I want it to be strong. And you're Yamaha, and you know that thing's not going to come out of the box a winner.
All right.
But you don't want him to leave. What would you do?
You sell him a dream?
Sell him a dream, but make sure you don't show. It's like the Wizard of Oz, right? There's somebody behind the curtain, and that's something behind the curtain is a bike that's not that fast. It's not going to be that fast coming out of the box.
Right.
So I think they want to try to sign him and then pull him onto the V4. Like sign him, re-sign him, and then go, oh, here's the V4. And when he bitches that it's not fast enough again for the 5th year in a row, they can at least turn around and say, hey, we're working on it. And you're already signed. You already have a contract. If they show it to him now and the thing comes out to be dirt or not slow, he's like, oh, that's it. I gave you the last.
Right now he's like, I'm done.
I'm done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And in his case, he's being unreal. He would be being unrealistic because nothing comes out of the box a winner.
Right.
But on the other hand, he's been promised so much for so long.
Exactly.
It's been years. This has been since 2022. They said they were going to give him something.
Right.
Okay? It's now 2025.
If I don't know what's going on behind closed doors, but I mean, I'm sure he's pushing them to get it out. But I would say, hey, I need this now, or I gotta start looking at Aprilia or other KTM, other places to go because I'm wasting my time here, you know.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Aprilia, would be a good run for him.
Yeah, that'd be perfect.
Yeah, because if he goes with Marc Marquez, then boy, you're gonna have a hell of a conflict in there. Shit and fur is gonna fly on that one because they're so close. Can you see? They're gonna be fighting to the last minute.
I mean, that would be
like Alex Marquez letting him go, his brother. He's gonna be in there if he's on that Ducati. Bang, bang, And Quartararo.
That would be interesting though to have him at.
Quartararo's not going to put up with Marquez banging on him.
Yeah, they're gonna be neck and neck. To be honest, that's what I feel like. If you put him on a Ducati, the factory team, they're gonna be right next to each other. I mean, because they were a little. It was a little back and forth.
Yeah.
And during that sprint race, they had a little because Fabio got out front and he closed it, got the right line. And then Marquez was just I think he had to just
I think he was feeling him out to see where he's weak and strong in the track.
Yeah. But he had to fight to get in front of him. So I'm like, imagine him having, the right bike.
Right.
We're gonna see some real racing right there, a real battle between. I feel like they may be the best. I feel like Fabio is up there. He's competitive. He just doesn't have a bike. So
and
that would be more
that
interesting.
He will push it 110%. Like it's like he maybe isn't faster than Marquez, but when you ride at 110%, you're at least equal him.
He's gonna be close
beyond your normal capacity. He might be able to run and beat him. You know? It's like a boxing match when the guy's not as good as the other boxer, but he just keeps throwing punches and throwing punches.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they say rate makes up the difference of skill. Will over skill.
Oh yeah.
I think Aprilia. But if he goes to Aprilia, he's his own boss. He runs the whole shebang. Yeah.
Either or, I would look at getting on a Ducati or Aprilia. One of those, whatever works, whatever deal you can get as far as that.
And Martin says to Crash, he goes, "Oh, I'm off. I'm free for 2026, right? Somebody sign me." And Aprilia said, "No, you're not."
Oh yeah.
And he said, "Oh, no. Who are you talking? You still got a contract." I thought that was great.
I don't know. It looks like he's already gone. To be honest,
it looks like he's already gone. They're going to have him on the bike. The next race is a race after. They said they're going to have one. That brilliant.
Yeah, it sounds like he doesn't even want to finish on Aprilia. He doesn't even want to come back.
And Espargaro kind of let the cat out of the bag when he crashed. Right before he said he was taken off. All right, Honda called him and said, "Hey, we're going to give you 3 times what you're making there."
Yeah.
Right. And then all of a sudden he said, when you're all done with Aprilia, come to see us. We'll give you 3 times what you're getting. He went,
oh, yeah.
I'm done right now. What do you know?
Right.
So he's solely there for leaving because of the money. Who's he bullshit?
If he goes to Honda, it's just for money.
It's a duck.
Yeah.
Right.
If he goes to Honda, it's just a money thing. But I would, if I was him, I wouldn't take that deal. That doesn't seem like I mean, look how they're doing. They're really at the bottom, to be honest.
Yeah. And the worst thing is they don't like a lot of lean angle, and Martin loves to run a ton of lean angle. We've seen him on that. He doesn't just.
He's on the shoulder.
His shoulder is like laying there. They should give him an extra pillow, or titanium shoulder because he can make sparks.
Yeah.
So I don't think he'll even make the elbow or the shoulder with the Honda.
Yeah.
He'll wash out before then.
Yeah, he's gonna if he needs to get on the Yamaha. They have better handling, I guess you could say.
Yeah. Well, they have better engineers. They were more apt to bring in European engineers. They have been for a couple of years, but they're harder to find because first the European engineer is going to first go to, they're first going to go to the European manufacturer. Going to want to go to Ducati. They're going to want to go to Aprilia. They're going to want to go to KTM. Right. So you're kind of picking up the backside of their, you're not picking up the valedictorian. Right. And as far as engineers go, the place you want to get them from is Italy, the UK, or Germany.
Yeah.
That's the 3 places.
The top. That's the top of the top. So, I mean, he's got a decision he needs to make pretty soon. But I was gonna say, so what do you think about the Gian Antonio?
Digi?
Yeah, Digi pretty consistent in at least top 10.
And he has speed. He just can't seem to get the damn qualifying down.
Yeah.
If he got qualifying down, you always hear fastest lap of the race, Di Antonio, and in 10th. We're like,
right.
Raul Fernandez.
I was gonna say that too, Raul.
He got fastest lap of the race, and he stinks.
Yeah.
That's how good the Aprilia's gotten. He should be like a marker. How good is the bike? Well, get that.
Right. Right. He's mediocre at best. Yeah. So if he's doing well, that should tell you something.
Yeah.
So.
And he has that shit attitude too.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean he's young guy. So, I mean, I'm not surprised. And then, I mean, we talked about Honda. We know what Honda has going on pretty much. So,
and Agura, that poor kid that broke his leg. He seems to get hit again, crashing. Like it's not him. Like somebody runs into him.
Yeah,
he's like a magnet.
Yeah,
it's hard to tell how good he is. Has he recovered? Who knows? He keeps getting hit. I'm surprised. They must have did a hell of a job on that leg. They must have put them screws in good.
Yeah, they get the top of the top as far as the surgeries and whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I feel sorry for the kid. It's like, damn, how did
that mid pack?
He seems to be able to put a good lap time down. Especially for being a rookie.
Yeah, I think they need to as far as the satellite track house.
Yeah,
they can maybe go to another, replace Raul, but I mean,
that Gonzalez kid in the All the Rage in Moto 2.
Yeah, somebody I would try to get him signed as soon as possible.
Yeah. I think Trackhouse is looking at him. He said
that'll be good.
Did they sign already, or did they get a line on him? I don't know.
No, you gotta have the inside.
Yeah,
the insider. Yeah, but yeah, that'll be good. They need to start looking at bringing in some new talent.
Yeah, it probably just needs talent is what they need. The last thing they needed was Martin.
Yeah. I mean, but that seemed like a good deal. But you see what happened. I mean, it would be hard to pass him up like initially when he was the world champion.
Yeah,
last
I know.
year. So yeah, that would seem like a good deal, Martin. But I mean, you see what happened. But I mean, they're still doing good. The good thing is Bez is still like, progressing and still pushing it along. So,
and they were looking at Bastianini, right? But Bastianini's been doing crap.
Yeah, he's hit and miss.
Who they still need that their alien rider, right? Bez just isn't it, right?
Yeah.
And I don't see any out there. I'd like to see maybe, what you call it on KTM. Pedro Acosta would be good. Would be good for KTM. Like you said, Quartararo would be phenomenal.
Yeah.
The only problem is, can they afford him? Because he spends money like there's going out of style. Like he already spent all of his salary for the next 5 years.
They need a cheap alien.
Yeah.
That's going to be a rookie. They got to get it. Whoever that rookie is. Gonzalez.
Yeah. Well, they say Quartararo is light in the loafers, and that lifestyle tends to people have to spend a lot of money. Right. And he has the big house. I think he has 2 houses, and all these cars, and
I think that's what's keeping him. That's what's keeping him at Yamaha is the money.
Yeah.
He may not be able to get as much as he wants from these other manufacturers. I know Ducati definitely not. They're not just throwing out money like that.
Yeah, because they don't.
Riders.
Ducati. Everybody thinks Ducati has those money. Ducati sells 60,000 bikes. They say, "Oh, but they're expensive bikes." Yeah, but they're expensive to make too.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, they're the best bikes in the world. I mean, they're the best. If you say what's best in class, it's Ducati.
Yeah,
whatever which ones you go down.
They're making race bikes. They're not just making regular. They're street bikes, but they're really race bikes. They're detuning them to ride on the street, but it's still a race bike. So
they got all that fancy electronics, and it rides for you. You can do handstands on it and everything. That's
Gizmo.
Shit money, especially and having to pass emissions, and the emissions keep getting tighter and tighter and tighter. And then people in emissions, they don't want to hear it's a motorcycle. We don't have the room to put 10 computers on it.
Right. And they're constantly changing that bike. That Ducati is constantly, the front end changes. They're putting the wing. They're changing the swing arm. That bike is constantly being updated. So
good move, by the way. The one arm, the single swing arm, it looks good. Okay.
Yeah.
But there's a reason you don't have it in MotoGP.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They did that specifically for looks.
Yeah, looks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which it looks good.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, their chassis doesn't have a full I-beam chassis to it. It's like partial. I think they did that for looks too. But they made it work with the electronics.
But they said, what is it? It's like I forget the number, but it's faster with the double-sided swing arm. They were saying it's faster now. So
yeah, they were saying they were getting 3/4 to a full second faster with that double-sided swing arm. I think it looks great.
Yeah.
But I see a lot on the videos and stuff. The H2, folks. If you're thinking of buying an H2, the worst handling super bike by far, hands down, is the H2. If you ever go to Google and say H2 frame and you see it, you'll know what I'm saying. They built all the components and they patched the frame into it. If you look at the side of the bike and you see the first 3 mounts under, like there's 2 in the front of the tank and 1 in the, like 3/4 of the way down the back of the tank. That's the only place that thing's bolted. The tank is bolted, or the frame is bolted to the engine. That's it. The rest of it is like hanging. Literally, there's no cross members or horizontal. Okay, all those nothing. It's just dangle. The holes they're holding on to like the shock, and the swing arm holds onto the engine, right? Which doesn't have anything bolts holding it in the back. Okay,
and that's single-sided, isn't it? Single-sided swing arm,
top of it, right?
Single-sided with a tubular frame.
And I'm not being a hater. I have one. But you go around a corner and you got it at the.
Yeah, it's not a cornering. That bike is just straight in the line. Yeah. Straight line. That's it. No cornering.
And I have people, they don't even own one. Oh, they're the greatest. I said, do you own one? No.
How do you know it's the greatest then?
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Your buddy doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about.
Right. But I'm pleased, man. I was really entertaining, man. I needed to see some racing like that because last race I feel like it was mediocre. It was okay in the beginning, but it kind of tapered off. Yeah. So this race was this was really good. I was entertained, man.
Oh, by the way, on the same lines, did you notice that the manufacturer with the strongest race engineering have the best bikes, production bikes?
Mm-hmm.
You have Ducati, Aprilia, right? And BMW. They're the three best production bikes, right?
Yeah.
And the KTM, right? And they all have the best race engineering too.
Yeah.
So it doesn't actually filter down. It might not filter down directly. So the export goes and export is in production bikes. But those good engineers work out to have good engineering for your production bikes when they race.
They're gonna be in trouble next year.
Bikes, the Japanese don't have as strong as engineering, and the bikes aren't as good. But like, who's the best of the Japanese? Right? Yamaha.
It's gonna be Yamaha, yeah. But you see how they're doing. I was gonna say, with Top Rack leaving BMW, they're gonna be in a hot seat.
Yes. I think BMW, when they made that S1000, they call it the Grandpa's Superbike, right? They do that for a reason. I have one, and it's the most comfortable bike. Matter of fact, after this, I'm gonna take a ride. But I think when you make it a nice, comfy Superbike, it doesn't translate to the fast race.
Yeah, I noticed that. I rode one and I was just like, I don't even know how to feel on this bike because I know it's fast, but it's also comfortable. So it's like, I didn't know how to feel. I mean, I was just like, I don't know. I don't, for some reason, I don't like being comfortable because I get too relaxed on it.
Yeah, like I have an MV F4 or RRF, you could call it RC. It's all warped and everything. But even though it's 10 years old, it's like a race bike. I mean, you sit on it like a scalded cat. You're not going to do more than 10 miles on the bike. Trust me.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Your spine's got to be replaced.
Right.
My buddy goes, you have a shot spine. Your spine's so shot. How do you race this thing? He goes, my spine's good. And after 5 miles, I was dying. I said, I said, you're like a scalded. That's where the old racers used to be on them. You're up like on top of the bike and
you up high and then you hunched over.
Yes. You had your nose
up. A race bike.
Yeah.
So that bike is different. It's different. I would encourage anybody to ride one. If you can get a hold of a BMW, I say go for it.
Yeah. Yes.
But so the next race is Saxton Wing.
I gotta say something. We know we told everybody about the ZX6 with Kawasaki with 20,000 engines blown up, but that was the recalls for USA only. But folks, they made it everywhere. Okay, the bikes are always made in the same place, so they give a recall in the United States, but then the European one should come later. They don't like to give it off. See, the Europeans are more vocal. The guys in the UK, they'll be like, "You dirty bastard!" They don't want to jump right into them. They want to give it to the calm Americans first.
Let them the same bike. So
they want to let them ease into it, before they.
I was gonna say, don't buy a Kawasaki right now.
Yeah, before them English and Irishmen get a hold of it and start hitting the roof. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Yami New, who has 1.5 million subscribers, started going down. Kawasaki has a few of them. I'm really surprised. And the CX10 had blowing transmissions. But see, the Japanese are so quiet. They try to do it on the down low. Not everybody gets the news. Right. So if the ZX10, folks, go in and check. Make sure it's not the. It was a newer model. They just had a recall on the transmissions. Whether whether the engine seizes and it throws you over the top, or the transmission seizes you and throws you over the top, it hurts the same both ways.
Yeah.
So check it out.
Definitely, check those recalls before you buy anything.
Yeah.
But definitely that bike for sure. But I was gonna say, so next not next week, but the week after, we have Saxton Ring. So who do you think is gonna?
Oh, who's gonna win Saxton Ring?
Right.
The king of the ring. It's got to be Marquez. He's in there. He loves that track. And I think it's almost all lefts. Right? And if you can win all busted up, did you see when he hit his nuts?
Yeah.
Oh, and he was right. He said if you look, the gravel at Assen was big. Right?
Big rocks, yeah.
Big rocks. And it makes a difference when you're flying through,
Oh, yeah.
The little rock.
I think somebody said a rock hit his neck. It was all up here when he crashed. Up, and yeah. So that's gotta suck when you crash there. I thought they changed all that.
You know what it was? You were thinking of, and I did it first too. Coda did that. And Coda had them, the rocks were as big as an apple.
Okay, yeah, no.
You know that?
Yeah, that's not good at all.
Because the riders went, no. Look at the size of these rocks. Holy shit.
No.
Because they had a couple of guys who just kind of half-assed fell down. And that I think was the time they had the neck. But they were like, Jesus Christ. I hardly fell at all. And it was like hitting a brick wall. Yeah.
They got to change that out. I don't know if it's because they do the car racing and, you're in a car, so you're not going to tell, rock sizes. But, on a motorcycle, you fall on a motorcycle, you're going to feel everything.
Yes. And he spun around, and you could see him. He's falling down he's on his belly. And he's going, bam, bam. He's hitting his nuts every time.
Down. And
when he got up, didn't you know what it was? You knew it instantly. When he gets up and you have that delayed reaction, you've been hitting the nuts, haven't you? I mean, we all have. Right?
Yeah, we all have, but not on a motorcycle. I never fell off and hit my nuts on a motorcycle, though.
I did. I never fell off. I went off a ramp, dirt ride, right? And I didn't know it was a ramp. It wasn't the time before. I was back in these woods, and here they had done some construction, and where it went up and down like a hill, they had blasted the backside of the hill.
Okay.
Well, now it was a straight. It was like a cliff. And I went, yee.
Oh, man.
The hill that was supposed to be there wasn't.
Oh, man.
Down like, bam.
Clamp, yeah.
Jesus, no.
That had to hurt. Dang. I would never want to feel that that pain right there. Because,
So,
That's
that delayed reaction where you get hit in there. Like,
until you feel it. Yeah, when you get that feeling, you're like, oh man, this is not good. Yeah. It's horrible.
The other one, I had a terrible one. Do you ever have your dog? I had always had big dogs, and I had a 200-pound white German Shepherd. And you ever have your dog? They're happy to see it. And they put their head down. They come up there, and then when they come right up to you, they go, boom. Hi, and they put their head up. Right in the fucking nuts. Boom.
Right.
Oh, Jesus.
You can't get mad at the dog because it's like he's just being a dog,
Yeah.
So, yeah. But Mark is a super, I don't know, man, super alien, man. He'll crash and still win the race. And it's like you don't really see that much. Somebody who's crashing but still, they get back up, get right back into it. Because I think he got he set a fastest time. I think he crashed during practice or whatever, and then got right back on the bike, and like nothing happened.
Schwantz will do that. He used to do that years ago. That's before your time.
Yeah.
He was always breaking his wrist, and he was always breaking his collarbone. And he would check out, like, I want to see how fast I can go around the corner. I used to use crashing as a marker. Like, I crash and go, okay, I can't go faster than that.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. How do you do that?
It seems like that's what he's doing too. Like he'll crash and he's like, okay, now I know.
He did. He said that. Yeah.
Now I know where it's at. Where not to push it too much in that corner. So yeah, he's a super competitor. I mean, I think he has it sold up. Definitely Saxton Ring. I mean, he's gonna. We already know what's gonna happen there. I mean,
I'm sorry. I've always been a Pecco fan, but when I say fan, I'm always realistic. He just don't have the speed.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
He just does not have the speed enough.
That raw speed, not regular speed. He's fast. We know he's fast, but Marquez fast. We talking about like consistent hot laps.
You had Freddie Spencer and Eddie Lawson. They used to call him Steady Eddie and Fast Freddie, right? And Freddie Spencer was the faster one. He was as fast as Marquez. And then you had Lawson. But Lawson was ungodly steady. He wouldn't be off a tenth of a second for the entire race, right? Literally. I don't know how the hell he figured that out. You know what I mean? No speedometer or nothing. How can he get that close? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he just couldn't make up the difference. His steadiness couldn't. Well, sometimes it did. He beat him, but very rarely. This is like Pecco. But Pecco don't seem to be very. He's not Mr. He seems like he goes fast and slow.
I think he second guesses himself. Like once the front end maybe gets a little loose, he starts to slow down.
He gets fast, and then he goes a couple of laps, and then he decides to try it again. You know what I mean? You know, he'll go back and I got past. All right, I feel okay. I'm over now. Then we try it again. You know, and he tries to take a run at it, and then he gets a good lap time. But by that time he might be up a second behind somebody by then, but now you've wasted 4 seconds.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. For him, he just has to, as long as he doesn't fall, I think that's the main thing is him not falling. So if he just stays on a bike, I think for him, second in the championship, if he can just get second in the championship, that's an accomplishment. Yeah.
Well, he might now because of, with Alex with a broken hand, you know. I was the most person I was impressed with was Aprilia and Bez.
Yeah.
And that was the bike. I'm sorry, it was the bike. But it's a shame that they hit him with the European teams with manufacturers with the engine freeze. Like how many? Every time I say it, I know I repeat myself, but how many times you got to put somebody down? You know what I mean?
Do it. The faster you are, the more they're gonna.
But I can see it. But it's the weirdest part is it's not just Ducati. It's we're gonna do all the European teams. It's like if you want to talk about prejudice, I mean they're like blatant. You're like, no, what is it? European brand. You can't win. What? You're not allowed to. Didn't you hear it? Didn't you get the memo?
Because I was thinking too, like I think it was doing the sprint. It's like I don't know. It just seemed like Marquez's bike is just different. Like I don't know, like the power of it, because he's powering out of the corner like he has an extra 20 horsepower or something. That's kind of what it looks like. It looks like he's
because he does the more of the American dirt track style where you go in slow and come out fast. He gets all his turning done early, so then he's like he gets on his gas before anybody else does. Yeah, he gets his turning done early, then boom, he's hitting it. Yeah,
at the apex before the apex.
He's turned his gas on full blast 6 feet before anybody else did.
Slingshot.
Yeah, he's coming out of that corner like that out of hell.
Yeah.
Where Pecco goes in faster. And he brakes harder. So
he brakes harder. But he's got to change. He's got to change that braking or something. He's got to change something to because obviously what they're doing, what the Marquezes are doing, is clearly working. So he's got to change something. They're on the same, pretty close to the same bike. I mean, for the most part.
Well, Marquez has the Alex Marquez, excuse me, has the 2000. 24 bike. And that's supposed to be the best bike on the grid.
Well, yeah. I think Benyaya, he has some 24 parts on his bike.
I don't know how that works. I get confused on what you can do, what parts you can do. I mean, at what point do you say no? You now you have a 20. You're bringing it back to a 24 bike. You know what I mean? How many parts can I put on before it's a 24 bike?
Right. Yeah, that's the inside scoop on that. But yeah, man. I mean, I think that like sums it up for the most part. I mean, that was a great weekend. I mean, I'm happy with it. I'm pleased. So hopefully we can get some more of that in Saxton Ring. I don't know. We have to pray to the MotoGP gods or whatever, or Dorna, or hopefully Dorna will I don't know, do what they do. But yeah, hopefully we get the same amount of entertainment.
Well, now that whatchamacallit's on there, Liberty owns it. I hope they just kick Dorna out.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I'm so sick and tired of the just all I ever ask is make it an even playing field. You know, don't do that. You have to win. You know, not this. And Honda expects everybody to do it. You know, it was like World Superbike. Well, MotoGP. They said, "Oh, we're going to throw 2 extra bikes on there. We'll throw 200." Never question it. We'll throw 2 extra, right? When KTM wanted to put 2, they said no. Oh, we'll go with 1. No. Like, they bent over backwards to get an extra bike, and we're no freaking way. Never going to happen. And Honda, they should. They're already building the bike. You know what I mean? What do you mean? You're not turning us down? We already paid you. You know. That's what Mac keeps talking about, the brown bag.
Yeah.
And but with Dorna, I don't think you're going up against Liberty. Liberty's going to say, we already have money.
We don't need it.
Stick the bag up your ass. You know, we want we want the series to work. I don't care about what you looking bad.
Right, the money and all that. Yeah. So,
and Espinosa, by the way, I don't know what he's going to do, but Espinosa wants Martin to fulfill his contract. But I think if you have Martin, he's just going to sandbag.
Yeah, sandbag. So what's the point of having him there?
Yeah. Yeah. And like Max said, also, he said, is Aprilia going to show him their best stuff?
No.
Knowing he might leave?
Yeah, no. He's going to take that with him when he goes.
Anyhow.
We'll see.
I think we covered it all.
You said, what's that?
I said, I think we covered it all.
Yeah. That's pretty much it, man. That's smooth right there. So yeah, on that note, we'll end it here and then we'll pick it back up in Saxon Ring.
All right. Hasta la vista, folks.
All right.